promise Consort Radahn. If you thought the original Star Scourge Radahn was a roadblock, buckle up. This version is a whole nother level. In the DLC's final showdown, you face Radahn in his prime. No horse, no army. Just twin blades, gravity magic, and holy murder in 2 crushing phases. Phase 1 hits you straight. Radahn swings his swords with deadly speed, leaps around the arena, and pulls off gravity-powered magics you haven't seen him use before. Then, once you bring him to 65% health, Phase 2 begins. Enter Miquella, looming behind him. The name changes to Radahn, Consort of Miquella, and every move becomes more punishing. Now, he retains his heavy sword combos, but they're interwoven with way more holy-based and multi-hit attacks. There's also the dash clone sprint attack. Radahn leaps into the air and creates after-images of himself doing overhead swings before Radahn himself swings towards the player. This move is oftentimes very overwhelming, and that's barely scratching the surface. The recovery time between attacks are short. If you want to heal up, you better sacrifice an attacking window to pop a flask. If you get greedy and try to get one more hit in, you'll most likely die. And even after you memorize all of his extensive skill sets and moves, the sheer amount of holy lights being thrown around in the second phase throws players off and makes it even harder to read his wind-ups. And yes, the devs even acknowledged it. Patch 1.14 nerfed several of his moves because community feedback called this fight too much, even by FromSoft standards. In fact, many players now argue that Consort Radahn has overtaken Millennia as the hardest encounter in Elden Ring. While Millennia's signature waterfowl dance and self-healing mechanic once stood as the apex of difficulty, Radahn's DLC version ramps everything up. Whether you prefer Millennia's brutal finesse or Radahn's relentlessness, many agree the throne of toughest Elden Ring boss now belongs to promised Consort Radahn.
Sword Saint Isshin. You reach the summit of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, face to face with Isshin, the Sword Saint of Ashina. This is the final duel. His aura is calm, deadly, and you know you're about to fight for everything. Phase 1 opens with measured sword sheath slides and fast draw slashes. Isshin tests your reactions. His stances change in a heartbeat, and each block or deflect must be perfect. Miss one, and you're staggered. Then Phase 2 kicks in. He removes his sheathed katana, draws the spear, pulls out the matchlock pistol, and turns the fight into wide arcs, long reach, and sudden leaps. Timing is even tighter. Phase 3 ramps everything up. Lightning becomes a central weapon. Now Isshin unleashes attacks imbued with crackling electricity. A leap into the air, then the spear glows and he dumps a sweeping arc of lightning downward. Or he gathers energy, unleashes twin shockwaves in a V-shape with barely any warning. As Isshin himself says, this final fight perfectly encapsulates Sekiro's combat system to a T. As one player put it, sword attacks to deflect, bullets to deflect, lance to Makiri counter, wide sweeps that require jumping and even lightning reversal, all into one boss. Not to mention trying not to fall off the cliff while dodging. One of the greatest feelings you can feel as a gamer is defeating him, because that means you've mastered the game mechanics at the highest level. There's a reason you can barely see anyone ever complaining about this boss.
Orphan of Kos. At the wind-swept shore of the fishing hamlet, the hunter faces the Orphan of Kos. Many outlets list this as the hardest boss fight in the Souls-type genre. Phase 1 begins with a weapon fashioned from flesh. The Orphan's placenta club swings with brutal arcs, its movements agile, unpredictable. Ranged projectiles, plunges, rapid dashes, his palette already punishing. But then you trigger Phase 2. Wings sprout, the sky rumbles. Lightning cracks from Kos's corpse. Projectiles rain, and the Orphan transforms into something even more merciless. Openings are harder to find, where once you might block or dodge and strike, now you're endlessly reacting. Attacks chain within fractions of a second. A ground slam transitions into a lunging dive. One wrong move and you're staggered. The follow-up kills you. What elevates this fight beyond standard difficulty is the unpredictability. His moveset evolves mid-fight. His aggression is just relentless, endlessly screeching on top of his lungs. Not only are his damage and speed outright ridiculous, the amount of combos he has with the same windup and slightly varying timings makes learning his dodge timing super tricky. So far, all 3 of the bosses mentioned are from FromSoft. That's what they're known for.
You could argue bosses like Melania, Ludwig, Malekith, and Lawrence, among others, deserves to be mentioned, but I think these three are just on another level.
Eigong. You reach the summit of your journey in 9 souls, battered and hardened, and only one door stands between you and the end. Behind it awaits Eigong. This is not just another fight. It's the final exam of everything the game has taught you. Phase 1 begins deceptively calm. She opens with 2 stabs, followed up with multiple combo attacks. Eigong's sword slides are clean. One mistimed deflect or step backward, and the combo locks in. You'll block, you'll dodge, but the rhythm tightens and the terrain tries to punish you. It's the warm-up, but it already demands near perfection. Phase 2 changes everything. Her combos expand. She starts with a Windblade combo, now introducing follow-ups to her Talisman throws, which is either an up/geyser combo or spike combo. Fighting Eigong, you're not just dodging her attacks, you're dodging the fear of what she could do next. If you've unlocked the true ending route, Phase 3 awaits, and here the fight becomes legendary. Eigong vanishes, reappears, unleashes screen-wide judgment cuts. Players spend hours on this phase, failing over and over again. This fight doesn't just test your mechanics, it demands everything. Perfect parries, aerial control, talisman management, build optimization, and mental endurance. When you finally land that final blow, you're not just relieved, you've mastered every skill the game expected of you.
Sans, you thought you could rewrite the story, skip the compassion, and finish the genocide route without consequence. But then you reach the last corridor, and Sans is waiting. You killed his brother. The game flips. This isn't your turn-based RPG anymore. It's a heart-hurting, bullet hell survival. The fight begins, and you notice. The board becomes a platform full of dangers. Bones thrust upward, sideways, backwards. Gaster blasters lock on. Blue mode forces you to jump his onslaught of bones. Red mode makes you react and dodge his barrage of attacks. He attacks even when it's your turn. Your items don't matter like they used to. You get hit, and there's karmic damage ticking you down. Halfway in, you realize Sans is nothing like the other fights in this game. He can dodge your attacks, alter your soul modes, extend the bullet board, and can constantly flicker the screen to transition through his attacks. And after enough turns has passed, he throws everything at you. A whole 40 seconds of straight baloney as he flings you in random directions, throws bones at you with even shorter dodging window, launches you through a narrow alleyway of bones, throws in a billion Gaster blasters at you before he crashes out, slamming you around till you're 1 hit point. You have to focus so sharp your reflexes feel superhuman. And if you can't, you might want to start memorizing the whole thing, which lasts roughly 10 minutes. After that, Sans unleashes his special attack, where he does nothing, preventing the protagonist from accessing the menu. Reaching this means you've won the battle because Sans will fall asleep, and you can kill him then. The funny thing is, Sans knows you can retry over and over again. He can break the 4th wall. That's why this battle is built the way it is, to make your experience fighting him so miserable you rage quit. Lost Lace. It's tough to pick a definitive hardest boss between Lost Lace from Silksong and Absolute Radiance. Both are brutal, both demand every ounce of player skill, but I think Lost Lace slightly edges out Absolute Radiance here. Lost Lace lies deep in the abyss, waiting as the secret final challenge. From the first strike, you know you're in for it. Swift slashes, piercing pokes, mid-air dives, tentacle summons, and void pools erupting beneath your feet. One misstep and you're staggered. Phase 2 begins as Lost Lace laughs maniacally. Her combos expand. Moves like Void Tendril Orchestra, Void Projectile Orchestra, and Void Blob Torrent, combined with her spending less idle time between attacks, overwhelms with how many things are coming your way. When Grandmother Silk screeches and Lost Lace disappears, Phase 3 starts. The frequency of Lost Lace's attacks slows, but she gets more defensive, and by the time you reach the 4th phase, she unleashes her Lost Moulinet combo and attacks more often again. Due to her abundance of teleporting around, players often run into her, and the contact take up 2 of your HP. The best guides say you'll need perfect parries, aerial control, tool management, and steel nerves.
Absolute Radiance is a monster of its own, a 6-phase behemoth of speed, platforming, and projectile chaos. Multiple attacks happen at once, the board is flooded, and if you're hit, you're often screwed. But Lost Lace asks more. The terrain, the void mechanics, the layered new builds in Silksong, the near-constant surge of danger. In their own universe, Radiance may stand tall, but in this matchup, Lost Lace takes the edge.
Sigrun. You've defeated gods, monsters, and now you stand before Sigrun. The arena is quiet. The 8 thrones of the other Valkyries lie empty. The portal opens, and Kratos steps forward. From the first moment, the air feels different. Then out of nowhere, Sigrun pounces at you like she's been waiting for you forever. The battle begins, and immediately you realize something. She uses everything. The ring blades, the scythe sweeps, the ice shards, the wing dives. She has just about every single moves the other 8 Valkyries have. Her speed is terrifying, her unpredictability merciless. You don't know what she's going to do next, and she has so many options. She's also a surprisingly difficult target to Spartan Rage because she can escape and even attack while you're using it, forcing you to hustle at every opportunity. Many think Sigrun made the main story bosses look like practice. The health bar alone is a marathon. Combined with the fast-paced nature of the fight makes the boss not only challenging, but also exhausting. When you land that final blow, when her wings fall, when the fight ends, you don't just feel relief, you feel triumph. Even Kratos himself was in a good mood after killing Sigrun, which is a rare sight for him.
That's a wee bit single-minded, isn't he, lad?
Definitely.
Deadlocked. Wait. Just hear me out here. I know some of you are probably typing in the comment section right now saying that I have no quote-unquote cube knowledge, but the truth is, I do have cube knowledge. The reason I didn't put levels like Thinking Space 2 or Amethyst is because they're not main levels. As you can see, all the other bosses mentioned in this video are made by the developers, not by fans of the game. Because without that distinction, fan-made bosses like Heidi Phoenix, Blushy Magic, and Forgotten and Papyrus, among many others, would dominate this list. Deadlocked is no ordinary level. 30 secret coins are required to unlock it, the 3rd installment of Rob Top's Demons. It starts with a normal speed cube build-up like all the official Rob Top demons do, and when the beat drops, that 3 times speed plus wave comes in, arguably the hardest part of the level. On the spam, your wave hold and release have to be identical. Hold a release too long and you'll crash. Gravity changes multiple times too, so beware of that. After that, moving block starts to become more prevalent. Memorization is more important here than most other main levels. After that, the robot, ball, cube, robot again, and ship are consistent in difficulty and can all kill you if you don't focus. Once the dual wave is in sight, you know you have to lock in. The slow but tight mini wave is challenging. The ship after will screw you over if you haven't practiced the route in practice mode. By the time the final UFO comes, it's highly likely to screw up due to nerves. Clubstep and Theory of Everything 2 is also difficult in their own regard. Clubstep ships are overall harder to maneuver. Theory of Everything 2's 78% part is widely regarded as the hardest part of the entire game. Whichever you think is the hardest depends on what modes you excel in, but I think we can all agree that the majority thinks Deadlocked is the hardest main level demon in Geometry Dash.